Yes, what's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the podcast once again. You know who it is. It's your man, Coach Connor, here to help you with your fat loss, food and fitness. Lovely to see you again. Welcome back to the podcast with no name, but we don't need a name, do we? We don't need a name. We've got everything that we need here. We've got me, we've got you, and we've got questions from the Macros Inc. public Facebook group. And that's what we're going to be going through again today. Again, once again, like last time, there is no bias on which questions get chosen. It just depends on what time I look into the Facebook group and I pull out some that look either interesting or noteworthy or people that need help, or sometimes shout outs for people that are doing great or just excellent topics of conversation. And I'm just here to chat to you through all these things and help these people too. So it's lovely to see you again. Welcome back to episode 2. So if you're just tuning in for the first time, scroll back a little, look it up a little, and view episode 1. Shall we get down to business? Let's have a little look what we are working with here. Look at this. So question 1 coming in from the Facebook group. D, she says, September sucked, crying face. September's my birthday. It was all right for me. I actually had some struggles, I will say, in my September for me personally, but also some really good things as well. I guess life's about balance, isn't it? For D though, she says, I have gained weight. I only worked out 21 out of 30 days. Only? I mean, well, that's loads, isn't it? That's loads of working out. Well done. Literally well done. That's over 2/3 of every day. Depending on what your goal is, you can get good results on 2 sessions a week for most goals. So Dee's definitely doing her good exercise. She says, gonna hit October hard. Let's get it. So why have I brought this up? Firstly, shout out to Dee for trying hard. Secondly, though, I just wanted to reiterate what the most important points are if your goal is weight loss. She says, September sucked, crying face. I gained weight, but then she's immediately told us how many workouts she's done. Now, remember, working out is not the primary tool for weight loss. Does it help? Yes, it burns calories. But how many calories can you burn working out? Well, during an hour of resistance training, you'll probably burn 250 calories. If you can run for an hour non-stop, you might do 500, maybe 600 calories. But can you run for an hour without stopping? Most people can't. I can't without regular training. You know, and then, do you know how many calories you have to burn to lose 1 pound? 3,500. If you're burning 500 calories an hour, that's 7 hours of non-stop running. Even if you do an hour every day, then you lose 1 pound per week. But who can run for an hour every single day? Most people, their knees and ankles or feet would fall to bits, wouldn't they? So most people don't find that realistic. Gym work and classes and stuff like that, that burns even less calories than running. So it's like, this is a common struggle that people have. They're putting so much effort and time and physical energy into getting this weight loss result. But if you're using the wrong tool for the wrong job, it's like having a screwdriver and a nail. and you're holding the nail and you're thinking, I can't screw this. All right, I'll turn the screwdriver around, and you start smashing it from the back. Will it work? It might work. But is it going to be harder than it has to be? It's going to be harder than it has to be. What you need is a hammer. Do you know what the hammer is for weight loss? It's direct calorie control. You know, if you put the right amount of calories into your mouth in the first place, then you haven't got to burn any. Then you'll just lose weight. So weight loss is more about the calories on the way in than it is what you can burn on the way out, because it's easier to manage and it's way more effective. Like I said, you'd have to do an hour of running every single day to lose 1 pound roughly body fat per week. And that's about as much exercise as most people can do unless you're a professional athlete. That's maybe too much for most people. I definitely couldn't do that. I would get injured. My feet would be destroyed if I ran for an hour every single day. It's not realistic for most people to do that. And you'd still only lose 1 pound per week. What can you do through nutrition though? You all know people who lose 1, 2 pound a week, 3 pound a week, depending on how much weight you've got to lose. You can get more done with the food. If you haven't controlled your food intake down, you can be burning calories on the top. But if you've not lost weight, if her weight's gone up over a month, let's say through the entire of September, this is not like water retention or anything. No calorie deficit was created despite the exercise. So the food intake's still too high that even though, yes, calories are getting burned, it's not burning enough to actually create enough deficit to actually lose any weight. So remember, fat loss is about food. Just a little bit of advice for you there, D. Remember, people of the Macros Inc. Facebook group, get your macros checked. That'll give you a good calorie number to aim for, and then start with the food for the fat loss. Control the food on the way in, and then use exercise as an additional tool. Or if you're using food for the fat loss, then you haven't got to worry about burning calories. You'll just do that as a byproduct of the exercise, and then you can exercise for other important benefits too. Can't you? Like strength, muscles, fitness, tone, posture, less pain, quality of life, quantity of life, confidence, sleep better, metabolic flexibility, nutrient partitioning. More things. More things. So well done to D there. Thank you so much. Hit October hard, but remember, put your efforts into the right place to get the result that you want. All right, next up then in the Facebook group, Casey Tiffin. She says, when you want to drink a shake, but you also need to hit your macros, blended chocolate whiskey protein shake. She says it's actually delicious. I believe you. I literally believe you. Let's zoom in on this little whiskey for a second. Let's have a little look at it. It's chocolate whiskey chocolat, is it? Spice Box is the brand. It's 35%, if you can see that on the screen. So we're not playing games, are we? Canada, who produced this. We're not playing games. Chocolate whiskey. Why did I throw this in? I thought it was funny. Shout out to Casey. I respect you for this choice. I drink alcohol. Is it the healthiest choice? No. Is this the healthiest drink ever? No. Is it kind of funny though, and I kind of respect it? I kind of do. Is it the most efficient thing you could do ever? No. Would it be better for her body, and if she's got muscle building goals, etc., would it be better to drink the protein shake, give it probably 2 hours to digest and get that protein in before you take in the alcohol, which can cause changes to the way the body handles nutrition? Yes, probably. But also, this is my new shirt. Is it better than just getting a low protein intake? Yes, it is. Sometimes. Screw it, you just got to do it. Don't you? So I mean, anyway, moving on. Shout out to Casey. All right, next up then, Nathan. Here we go. Inside the Facebook group, Nathan Clements, he says, I've been lurking in this group for like 4 years now, and I was finally frustrated enough to look at my macros again the other day. Now I'm even more frustrated. Hoping y'all can help me out. Yes, I can, Nathan. Here I am, sir. He says, I'm 31, 6 foot, a good height. I've been 155 pounds for at least 10 years. So he's been maintaining his weight either through efforts or seemingly naturally for the last 10 years. He says, I'm always tired. And I often go from being just fine to absolutely ravenous / hangry / can't function. That can happen when you're pretty lean, to be honest. You know, there's something called energy availability, and it's literally how much energy you've got available in the body. And if you don't have much body fat and you don't have much food, you ain't got much, have you? You ain't got much of something. So that can happen sometimes. At the drop of a hat around meal times. If this is a picture of him, I mean, he looks to be a fit and healthy guy, so I wouldn't assume, aside from any health problems, you know, if you had like diabetes or something, then that could be an issue, but I wouldn't assume that necessarily for Nathan. If he feels really bad, it's never a bad idea to get yourself checked at the doctors, is it? It's never a bad idea, is it? To get checked at the doctors, but it could also be sleep, it could also be stress, it could also be nutrition overall, it could also be lack of movement or massive amounts of movement. I'd need more information to figure out why that is, but I hope you feel well, sir. Rest, relax, recuperate, rejuvenate, try and look after yourself. Anyway, let's carry on. He says, I checked my macros based on my gender, height, weight, good, with a somewhat active 2 to 3 times per week lifestyle, nice, and it tells me I need to eat 2,500 calories per day just to maintain. Fine. I mean, that sounds rough, that sounds right to me. 6 foot tall, relatively active, 2.5k. Sounds fine. That sounds pretty normal to me, yep. How on earth am I supposed to... Oh, okay, here we go. How on earth am I supposed to eat that many calories? Where do I even find that many calories besides fast food and candy bars? Easily, sir. Easily. It says, I currently eat 3 meals a day with no snacks, all probably around 300 to 400 calories each. That totals about half of what I should be eating, apparently. Okay. This part seems like a slight misunderstanding. I would find that unlikely. It's nearly impossible. It might even be impossible that Nathan at 6 foot tall is eating only 1,200 calories per day. That is, let me just see what is 155 pounds in kg. All right. 70, all right, nearly the same as me. I'm like 73, all right. 1,200 calories is like the calorie maintenance level of somebody who weighs more like 50 kg, you know, somebody who's not 6 foot tall as well. You know, If that is true, Nathan, that is why you feel like crap. I hope that's not true. It's highly unlikely that it's true though, because Nathan's been maintaining his weight for the last 10 years. That means that he is eating his calorie maintenance level, and you know the macro check, that says his maintenance level is around 2,500, and the macro checks are not that far off. It can't be. The human metabolism does vary based on variables, to use the same word twice. That's ridiculous, isn't it? Sorry, Theosaurus Rhodes over here. Like gender, height, weight, activity level, yes, and other, correct, as he's quite rightly written down here. But can it vary by like 50% like that, or half? No, it can't. It just can't. It can vary by more like 20% max in very specific like situations, more like 10% normally, below or above. If you've ever calorie counted properly and you've ever actually calorie counted 400 calories, this is tiny. This is like 30 grams of breakfast cereal or something with a bit of milk on for breakfast, and 30 grams is like a quarter of a normal sized bowl. Weigh it out and find out. And then maybe like a little wrap, wrap from a supermarket. They're usually like 400 or 450 calories. And then in the evening, like half a chicken breast and a few chips. Something like, it's like it's such a no snack. It's such a small amount of food constantly. That's a tiny amount of food. If that is true, which honestly it's just kind of not, that would be why you feel like crap, because a 6 foot tall guy cannot eat 1,200 calories a day. You'll starve to death. You must be eating whatever your maintenance level is, Nathan. You must be, because you're maintaining weight, aren't you? So I wouldn't worry, about whether the calorie counting is right or wrong. This is kind of beside the point, to be honest, because whatever you're naturally or normally eating, that's maintaining your weight. So do you know what you need to do to put weight on if that's the goal? Let me just read this again. Okay, he wants to maintain his weight. Well, because it says 2,500. Let me just finish the question. But it says it's 2,500 calories just to maintain. Well, if you want to maintain, you're already maintaining, because you've just said you're the same weight for the last 10 years. So whatever you're eating now, it's going well, if that's your goal. So I wouldn't worry. He says the problem is I literally don't know how to eat those calories. I'm frustrated because I already don't really like eating, to begin with, and it seems that everything at the stores these days is all low-calorie garbage. Yeah, you can get sort of lower-calorie processed foods, because that does hit the goals of some people. I'd like to be cooking and stuffing my face all day non-stop. He says, I'd have to be cooking and stuffing my face non-stop all day long just to maintain, please help. Excuse the far-away picture. I have surprisingly few body pictures. No, you look good, sir. That's a nice picture. We will say, well, I would think about this a different way, Nathan, much simpler. If you've been maintaining your weight 155 pounds for the last 10 years, you're already eating calorie maintenance, despite what your calorie maintenance might be or your calorie intake is. If that's your goal, you're winning. If that's not your goal, if you want to lose weight, which I doubt, then just eat slightly less. Whatever you're eating now, reduce slightly, you'll lose. Because you're eating exactly maintenance, whatever you must be, because your weight's maintaining, whatever that maintenance level is. If you want to gain, just eat slightly more. Just bump up one of your meals by like 200 or 300 calories and you'll start to steadily put on weight. I will say, if you want to gain weight through muscle, you need to weight lift and eat enough protein and get stronger to build muscle. If you just eat more calories, you'll just gain more body fat, and you're just kind of gaining body fat for no reason. Yes, you'll weigh more, but is it the right type of weight that you want to gain? I guess that depends on your goals. But if you're maintaining, you're eating maintenance, so just bump it up a bit and you'll gain, or drop it a bit and you'll lose. You're actually in a really great position. Stay powerful, stay positive, stay at it. Hit me back with questions if that makes sense or doesn't. Let's see who's next. Oh, this is interesting. Tracy has put on a bit of a meme. It says, when your coach tells you to up your protein intake, and there's a very happy looking gentleman with a giant forearm that's the size of my leg, holding maybe a photoshopped or maybe a joke-sized tub of gold standard whey protein, Optimum Nutrition Gold Standard Whey Protein. Why am I showing you this? Okay, number one, it's kind of funny. People love a good chocolate shake. But number two, do you know one thing I thought when I saw this? What I wanted to mention, I thought, how much would that cost? Because have you noticed lately? Please comment. I am in England. Have you? Maybe you're in the USA. Good. Tell me if this is the same way you are. Have you noticed that the price of whey protein has gone up ridiculously? I'm like, What's happening, sorry? For years, I've been buying from this website, My Protein, not a sponsor, good company. I will say, good company. Look, buy high quality supplements from Europe's #1 sports nutrition brand. They are very popular. They're probably the most popular in England, where I am now. Have you noticed that protein shops are also like sofa shops now? You never buy anything on full price. Everything's always the big day sale, and everything's always 70% off. And I swear to the Lord above, it better be 70% off, because have you seen these prices? What is happening, sorry? I am lactose intolerant, so no, not that one, sorry. I am lactose intolerant, so I get Whey Isolate, which is an isolated version of protein, which doesn't have 0 lactose, but it has very close to 0 lactose, okay? And okay, we've got an offer on at the minute. It's saying it's £19. It's basically £20. Let's look what that is for the Yanks, shall we? It's pretty much the same at the minute, I think. Okay, it's $22, so it's slightly less. We took a dip recent. Did you see this about the GBP? We took a dip. Oh, now. People have been getting tight around the edges here in the UK for the last, since 22nd of September. Things have been happening with our economy, but it's close enough the same, okay? That's for 500 grams. It's now $22. You can only get this in 500 grams, so they must have been selling out of the other ones. So let's choose a different flavor and see what they've got available. Okay, natural vanilla. Look, you can get 5 kg. I want the bad boy 5 kg. The 10 lbs, or nearly the 11 lbs, whatever it would be. Can you see that it was £237? Let me just check that you can see that on the screen. You can't. 1 second. There you go. Now you can. Can you see that it was £237? Is that $250? It's $264. It's how much, sorry? It's $264 for a bag of whey protein. And alright, it's like £84 off, so now it's only 153 of your finest English pounds. Alright then. So that's what, $170? Yes, $170.5. What? And these are not an expensive website. This is not like, oh, these are really expensive. No, it's pretty much the same across all our UK websites. The prices are insane. You know, for the 5 kg, I used to pay more like £55. 3 times less. Admittedly, yes, that was a few years ago, but only a couple of years ago, I used to pay 3 times less for whey protein. Is this happening to you? Perhaps it is. That's something I've got to show you later. Anyway, thank you to Tracy for that post. All right, next up then, Cindy. Oh my, cinders. Look at this. Let's just look at these transformation pictures. Before, at her daughter's wedding, she's commented. After. Cindy, let's go! This is just incredible, isn't it? This is just incredible. I love seeing things like this. Healthy eating, healthy, happy life, eat healthy, be happy. Oh my Lord. And she's put 199, 199, 199. I'm assuming she's saying she wants to get down to £199. She wants to get below that 200 mark, because she says today I'm officially £210. £240 down from my highest weight. What? Sorry, Cindy? You've lost over 50% of your body weight? Cinders! This is just incredible, isn't it? She says, I was hospitalized. Live healthier, be happier. She says, this picture was on my way to my daughter's wedding, the only dress that was remotely nice. I'm sorry to hear that. A lot of people have clothing struggles at higher body weights, don't they? So I feel that one. In between 3 hospital stays. Now she says she's in the doctor's parking lot, but she's crying through happiness, not because she's being admitted to the hospital. Cindy, this is incredible. I just wanted to shout out this post, number 1, for just being amazing, but number 2, also just to say keep going to Cindy, and perhaps offer a little bit of calorie advice. Keep getting your macros checked. If I was you, if you've not done a re-calorie calculation to figure out how many calories you would need at this point to carry on, because you've lost so much weight, and how does your calorie intake level or calorie maintenance level or calorie deficit level get worked out through those variables we talked about with Nathan? The biggest one is how much you weigh total, and you weigh way less total, don't you? So get your calories recalculated. I am estimating that at around 199 body weight for Cindy, considering she's lost a lot of weight, if we're not including step count calories and any exercise calories, probably around 2,000, maybe around 2,100 or something like this calories will be probably roughly Cindy's maintenance level at this point, meaning that she would need to consume less than 2,000, 2,100 calories, maybe burn a few on top if you can too, just exercise, health, fitness, get it done. If you can. So I'm thinking if she keeps her calories to a little bit below 2,000, she'll drop body weight, but I would get those calories, that calorie level checked officially in the Facebook group. Make sure you're on the right track and just keep going. Weight loss never stops. There aren't any like magical fat loss fairies inside that are like, I will never let you get below this arbitrary weight that humans invented. Do you think your body knows what 1 pound of weight is? 1 pound is a number that somebody just decided at one point. They were like, this force of gravitational production based on this mass, the force of gravity that this mass feels, I declare this to be 1 pound. So your body's not like, okay, I will understand what that is and then times that by 200 and I will never let you get below this. That's not the case for anybody. And okay, set point theory. Maybe you're thinking, yeah, but Connor, what about set point theory? What about it? It doesn't work like that. Calorie deficit always works. Is set point theory a real thing? In some ways, yes, there are discussions to be had about different ways that can work. But it's not like, oh, my body doesn't let me get below a certain weight. Yeah, it does. Because I'm not saying none of this is to do with Cindy directly, but some people, they get to a certain body weight and they're like, my body weight never goes below 90 kg. I can't get below 83. I can't get below 200 pounds. Yes, you can. It's that you don't let yourself get below 200 pounds. You just need to keep creating calorie deficit. Either your calories have snuck back up, without you realizing your intake's gone up a little bit, or your calorie burn's dropped, or just you've lost enough body weight that what was the amount of food that was creating a deficit before is now no longer creating a deficit, and you need to drop down the food a little bit more. And keep it moving. And keep it moving, my dear. All right. Next up then, let's keep it moving here on the podcast too. Next up, we've got Megan Nutt here in the group. Thank you so much for this post. New member inside the group. She says, my first week doing macros and I lost all week long. Good start. Just to gain everything back that I lost this morning. She says, hitting all my goals except for calories, I am under each day. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with being under your calorie level each day, especially at the beginning of the process. You'll just lose weight a little bit faster, so I'm not surprised the weight was coming down if that is correct. She says, but super full and don't really want to eat anymore. If you've got fat loss goals and you're getting enough nutrition in, like your protein intake's good and you're getting some fruits and veggies in and stuff like this, you don't need to force feed yourself more food just because the macro calculator or a calorie calculator says you should eat 2,000 calories per day and you're like, oh, but I'm on 1,800 and I'm full. So what? Okay, you've just had 200 more calorie deficit. It's fine. That's just going to attenuate slightly next time all of us inevitably overeat slightly, isn't it? So, all right, that's not a big deal. It's not like if you eat less calories under the deficit level or maintenance level that you'd lose less weight. It's the exact opposite. You lose more. It's directly in proportional losses. Like Amber says here, it's 3,500 calories to lose 1 pound. That just comes how it just comes, doesn't it? It just comes from where it comes from. So she says, I'm hitting all my goals except calories. I'm under each day. Good. But I'm super full and don't want to eat anymore. Good. I'm glad you're full. You don't have to eat more if you don't want to. Really needing some encouragement today. I thought I was doing really well this week. Okay, so this can only be two things. This can only be one of two things. There's only two reasons ever that your body weight isn't going down when you're trying to lose body fat. Remember that body fat loss is the actual goal and body weight loss is a measure of whether you're losing body fat. But body fat changes due to calories and body weight, how much you weigh total. Because remember, when you step on the scale, you are not checking how much body fat you've got. You're not checking how hard you've tried. You're not checking what you've eaten. You're checking how much total everything you've got, and you've got more than just body fat, haven't you? You've got organs and water and muscle and bone and stuff, everything inside you, haven't you? You have fat, you are not fat. So when you check your body weight, you're not checking how much body fat you've got, are you? So there's only two reasons the body weight would not go down One is either you are not creating a calorie deficit and then just coincidentally the weight went down and then went back up. Because people's body weight does change all the time, every single day, based on whether you've exercised, temperature, hydration levels, hormones, bloating, food intake, food quality, just more things, illness, sleep, more things, humidity, more things, more things. There's loads of things that change your body weight every single day. Nearly every single person's body weight changes nearly every single day. It kind of changes even every single hour. Like you eat or drink something, you go up, you wee, number one, or number two, toilet, then you go back down, you know, then you sweat and it goes down, and then it's just always like this. You get inflammation for some reason, it might go up slightly. Yeah, no, that's just what it is. So either the weight just went down because it went down from something other than body fat loss, and now it's gone back up. If that keeps happening, then you are not creating a calorie deficit. The weight's just going up and down on its own, and we were kind of reacting too early for it. Really, you need to leave it 2 or 3 weeks. If it gets to after 2 weeks, if somebody's started working with me, for example, and you've not lost weight, the probability that you are not creating a calorie deficit, if your weight goes up and down, which it will, but it goes up and down back to the same point it was for 2 weeks, and you're checking it on some decently consistent level, like 3 times per week or more, you check your body weight, and yes, it goes up or down, but it keeps going up or down and ended up back at the same point. Every day that it gets past 2 weeks, the probability that you're not creating a calorie deficit for me is approaching 99%. If it gets to 3 weeks, tick, we drop over to 100%. There isn't really any water retention. Like what if Megan is losing body fat and that's why her weight went down, but now hormones have changed and that's why her weight's gone back up? Do you see? What if she's bloated? What if this? What if that? You know? But water retention and hormones doesn't last longer than 3 weeks, does it? No. So maybe at this minute, Megan, I would stay steady. Fly the flag steady, sail the ship straight, keep your calories controlled, keep moving on forward, because it's kind of too early to tell what's going on. Like I said just then, there's only 2 reasons the weight won't go down. One is either it's getting masked by water retention or something else similar. You might be losing fat, but hormones might have changed, or there might be some other water retention or some other bodily change going on, which has made the weight go up, which has nothing to do with your body fat loss or your calorie deficit that's being created, and you are losing fat, but you've had a weight bump due to something else, which definitely happens to nearly everybody on some varyingly consistent basis, depending on who you are. Women's body weight varies more than males due to having different hormones and more hormonal changes throughout the cycle and stuff like this. So you understand what I'm saying? She might be losing fat, but the weight might have just bumped up temporarily. How will you know? Because if you keep going, then the weight should go back down, and it shouldn't go back down to where it was before. It should go back down even further if you're losing fat. And will it continue to go up and down forever? Yes, it will. But if hormones and change and water and this and that, but body fat getting lost over time will make you slimmer and therefore lighter, and therefore the weight will go down, won't it? So it'll go up and down, but it should go up and down but keep going down on average. Like I'll show you this little graphic here. Let me just move myself out of the way for you here. This is a graphic that I've made. I've literally made this myself, and this is a real weight loss graph from one of my actual real clients. And you can see here that if we look at the individual weigh-in points, every time the graph changes direction, that's basically a weigh-in point on this app that was used to, it's actually a MyFitnessPal graph. We recommend you use the MM Plus app most of the time, but this is actually a MyFitnessPal graph. But it's a real graph from one of my clients. Every time the graph changes direction on the orange line, that's a weigh-in point. So the first weigh-in was a drop. The next weigh-in was up. Not back up, okay, to be fair, to where it was before, but it did go up. Then it went down, then it went up, then it went down, then it went up. Then it went down, then it went down, then it went down, then it went up, then it went up. Then it went down, then it went down, then it went down, then it went down, then it went up. Up a decent amount, then it went down, then it went up a little bit, then down even more, then up a big bit again. And then down, a big down to the lowest point ever before, and then down, neutral down. We're down low, but then back up, oh my God, and then down. Do you see? And do you see what I've indicated on the graph as well? Some points where the weight spikes up. If you give in here on a spike or here on a spike, and if you compared that point to that point, where the first arrow is to the second arrow, it looks like you've gained weight if you only weighed yourself twice. This is why if you don't weigh yourself often enough, you can get confused by the results. Because if you just happen to weigh in on that spike and that spike, you're thinking, I'm gaining. I'm gaining. And this lady's not doing that because she said she's weighed in consistently by the sounds of it, but more weigh-ins, more data points collected equals more accurate data analysis, doesn't it? And there's another big spike there. Look, this was going well, and then the third hour, big spike, but you've just got to keep going. Why did this, this is a lady on the weight loss graph, why did her weight spike up here? I can't remember. It could have been, this lady wasn't like wildly overeating, she wasn't like binge eating or eating loads of junk food or anything like this, you know. So it could have gone up due to hormones. It might have gone up due to like an over-calorie day. Maybe she drank some alcohol, maybe she had a takeaway, maybe she was bloated the next day. That can also happen. But my point is anyway, the weight just goes up and down, but if you keep losing fat, it'll keep going down. If it gets to 3 weeks at any point and you've not made a loss overall on average, if it gets past 3 weeks, then it's not water retention or anything like this. A large enough calorie deficit's just not being created to cause significant weight loss enough to show up on the scale, you know. So then it's not that you're a bad person. This is not really an issue. There's no moral value attached to this or anything like that. You just need to reduce your calorie intake. And if any app you're using, like Plus or something like this, says that you're eating a calorie deficit or a low enough amount, or your calories are below the amount that they should be or on the amount that they should be for fat loss, but your weight's not going down, then the only answer that can possibly exist in the universe is that the entries that are getting put into the app are wrong. And that's not a big deal. You just need to accuracy up a little bit. You need to start weighing out your actual portions, measuring things, accounting for every single ingredient of every single thing, not just the main ingredients of the main things. You just need to make sure that you're accurate with the calorie counting. And then the weight will definitely come down. So stay powerful, stay positive, stay on it, stay after it, keep moving forward. At this minute in time, it's too early to tell. I hope you get another weight drop within the next few days, preferably, so that you're moving back onto the right path. But it's only been a week. No matter what goal you've got in life, if you only give it a week and then you start judging it, what if you took up a sport or something and you did 1 week's worth and then you're like, oh, but I'm still rubbish. Of course you are. It's been 1 week, you know, give it more time. So give it at least a couple of weeks, and then if your weight's still not going down, something's going wrong with your calorie intake, absolutely, definitely. But hopefully something's not going wrong with the calorie intake. Hopefully it's just a little weight bump due to water retention or something else or something similar. You know, I know that you know. So Megan, anyway, hope that helps, hope that makes sense. There's your encouragement, keep on it, keep after it, let me know how you are. All right, and I can see we've gone over the 30-minute point, but seeming though I've just clicked onto this post by Michelle, which is a joke, but I also think it's an important point. I'll finish on this one. Michelle's made a post and she's put still testing, and the post shows a little picture or meme, and it says, I'm not sure how many cookies it takes to be happy, but so far it's not 27. And that's true, isn't it? That is true. We've all tried to eat for happiness. We've all tried this. If you're listening to this video, especially if you've got this far into it, you obviously care about your health, you care about your weight loss, you care about education, you care about hearing positivity and positive material and positive talk and absorbing positivity and success through osmosis. Don't you? So you obviously care about these things. So you have also tested the theory, because we all have, including me, of this. You've tested this theory and so have I. I will eat whatever and I will be happy. Or, oh, I don't care about my food intake, I'm just going to eat whatever and it'll be great. You know, or I'm just going to drink alcohol, I just don't care, forget about it, it's just going to be a good time, okay, I'm just going to eat whatever, I'm just going to enjoy myself, you know. And yeah, okay, it works for a bit, doesn't it? It works for a bit. Food is one of the biggest pleasures in life, especially junk food, especially globules of baked variety sugars and fats, which is what basically all junk food is. It sets off the dopamine receptors and pleasure centers of the brain, and it tastes great and it does feel good. It does give us a little bit of a dopamine hit. It can be a de-stress or a distract, can't it? If you're trying to eat for happiness or for stress management. But if you're trying to eat to be happy, it doesn't really work for a number of reasons. Firstly, if you're doing it for stress, then you just can't chew away your stress. Everybody gets stressed. Every single person gets stressed. You can't avoid stress. So you shouldn't feel bad, firstly, for feeling stressed, because then you're just compounding negativity and just beating yourself up over something that's just normal. Everybody gets stressed. And it's also normal that when everybody gets stressed at different points, you want to escape that stress. You want to de-stress or distract away from it. We either need to cope with it or deal with it, don't we? We either need stress coping mechanisms so we can deal with stresses that we can't fix, external things. You can't always fix every problem in life. You know, some stresses are just on you and you just got to kind of just deal with them for the minute until hopefully they pass or it settles down in some way, you know. Or if it's a stress that you can actually fix or deal with, like say you've got a work deadline coming up or something and that's causing you stress, but you can actually work on it and get it done. You know, so when stress comes, we need to work on it or deal with it. But if you're using food as a coping mechanism, it does work a little bit, like I said, because it does give you a dopamine hit. So it does distract your brain. It gives you an alternate feeling in a physical manner than whatever you're feeling about this external stress in your mind. That does work a little bit, but there's too much stress in life to chew your way through it all. It's just too expensive. And I don't mean in terms of money, because you can get 4 donuts for 40 cents and don't pretend you can't you? You can just get all the junk food in the world. Like you can get a massive chocolate bar for $1 or £1, can't you? You just can if you go somewhere that's got cheap stuff. Or if you go to the supermarket when they're doing clearances, oh my lord. You can get so much junk food for cheap. It's expensive for your health. That's literally the thing. You just can't chew through life. Like it's the same for boredom. You can't just chew all your time away. Well, you can, but you will literally chew your time away and have decreased quality and quantity of life, unfortunately. And there's just too much stress to chew through it all. So I'm not saying don't ever eat for pleasure or stress, because I do that too sometimes. Sometimes if I feel like crap, I can't be bothered to cook, and you just order a takeaway and do you feel a bit better? Sometimes you don't. You just feel like you've just consumed a load of grease and it's not helped anything. But sometimes, all right, you will enjoy it and you will feel a bit better. Sometimes it works. Sometimes we eat to celebrate as well, don't we? And things like this. Okay, it's fine in moderation. Like pretty much, well, not everything, but most things within reason are fine in moderation, aren't they? Including food and including eating for feelings, positive or negative, through food. It's just if you put all your eggs in one basket, metaphorically, if you try and do all your chewing to get through all the food, to get through all the stress, it's just not going to work. Firstly, again, because there's too much stress to just deal with. Secondly, because it's got a sort of like a diminishing feedback loop through food. It's kind of like chasing the proverbial dragon. Do you know how dopamine works? It's not actually the reward hormone like sometimes people think it is. So you know, like if you're eating like chocolate or pizza or something like this, some dopaminergic food, it's not the actual, really, the eating of the food that gives you the most dopamine. Dopamine is actually an anticipation hormone, not really a reward hormone. You get the most dopamine when you order the pizza or the takeaway, the delivery food. When you order it, you're like, yeah, this is going to be great. And as it's coming, you're thinking, oh, it's taking too long. No matter how long it takes, it's taking too long, isn't it? And then when it comes, sometimes you don't even like it. Sometimes it tastes bad, and then you're disappointed. But you were getting dopamine from the fact that it was coming, but even when it arrived, you didn't like it. Or sometimes you eat it after, and then you don't feel good mentally or physically or both, and then you don't enjoy it that way either. Either both or either, do you? So you didn't actually get pleasure from the consumption, you got pleasure from the thought of the consumption. If you're eating chocolate or baked chips, crisps, we call them here in England, or other things, you get the most dopamine as you're reaching for the next piece and as it enters the mouth. Maybe on the first taste and the first bite, but then have you ever noticed, if you're eating something like chocolate, you've got the next, or baked chips, crisps, or popcorn or something, you've got the next piece in your hand before you've even swallowed the bit that's in your mouth. Why is that? Because the bit that's in the mouth has already stopped releasing dopamine, so it's stopped being pleasurable, so you're already going for the next bit. And then you know, every time you hit the same stimulus, this works for a lot of things with the human body and in life, but the more times you hit the same stimulus over and over again, especially in quick succession, the dopamine and the pleasure you get from it diminishes, and that's why it becomes like chasing the dragon. And that's one of the reasons why like binge eating sort of starts to occur, because somebody feels sad or bad, or they want to de-stress or distract, in some way. And then they start with a little bit of chocolate or something, or a little bit of a donut or something pleasurable. And for the first couple of bites, it's actually nice and you actually feel better. Then after a few more bites or another couple of minutes, it starts to feel pretty neutral. And then the more you eat it, the worse it feels. Till some points you can be eating it and you can just feeling worse, and you can feel sick and you don't even want it and you don't even know why you're eating it. You're just doing it because your brain's got this link between that junk food and pleasure, hasn't it? And you're trying to get the original first pleasure from when it was coming and when you were reaching for it. I'm doing a bit of a naughty thing, but it's going to feel good. And then you eat it and you're like, oh, that is good. You're trying to get that back every single time, and it does not work. It actually lessens and lessens and lessens and lessens and lessens and lessens. So then what happens with stress management with food is people try and chew their stress away. It does not work. It also creates another problem where it changes psychological stress into physical stress, because if you eat too much junk food, then you gain body weight, and then this causes negative physical impacts and psychological impacts from that. So it doesn't even make you happier overeating junk food for stress management or to try and feel happier. It doesn't work. It just moves your problem. You're trying to avoid a psychological stress and it just changes it into a physical stress, which sometimes then compounds back into a further psychological stress. It just kind of bumps your stress to about 30 seconds later, and then you go for another piece or another bite, and then it bumps the stress again. And eventually you've got to stop, because either you'll run out of junk food or feel sick. Basically, you've got to stop at some point. And then what? And then what? And how long does it take to eat 1,000 calories of junk food? Like one of those big family-sized chocolate bars. Family-size, quote unquote, doesn't serve 8, as it says on the packet, serves 1. Let's not play games. You're eating the whole thing, aren't you? Like a 12-inch pizza. The light serves 4. Stop it. Stop it now. How long does it take to eat that? 5 minutes, 10 minutes? Is it 15 minutes? All right, is it half an hour? Then what? All the stress you had before, it's still there, isn't it? It's not actually helped anything. You just consumed a load of calories, which if you've got fat loss goals or weight management goals or health goals, which you listening to this, I know that you do, otherwise why would you be listening to this? Then you're going against your goals, and this is creating other negativity, and if you keep doing it, then it creates physical and then further downstream negativity, like I said a minute ago, and it's like, oh my Lord, you're trying to eat to be happy, and it just doesn't work. It works, I will say this, I think it works if you're already in a good position. If you're in a good body weight or a good body shape, or you're in a good health position, or you're in a good mental state and you feel good, and then you go out, it's your birthday and you eat some cake, you already feel good, it's my birthday, yay, a bit of cake, nice. Or it's somebody else's birthday, or you're celebrating something and you go out for a few drinks, nice, this works. It's positive, and then we can have some food, that makes it even more positive, yeah. You know, it does build, you can compound positivity like that a little bit, because you don't have any negative feelings towards this food, especially if you're in a good body weight, or a good body shape, or a good body health, or if you're where you want to be, then it's not going against your goals, at least not by much, and you're already at your goal. So it's like, then there's no negativity. It's if you're trying to get away from negativity with food, or, you know, chew through the negativity, or de-stress or distract away from the negativity with food. I'm not saying don't do it at all. Food is a pleasure, try it a little bit, but also just please, just have other alternate stress management methods. You just need alternate stress management methods which are helpful and not harmful. I'll say that again. You need stress management methods, which can be anything that makes you feel good, anything that makes you feel good. It might be cooking healthy food. Some people like cooking, some people don't, all right. It might be walking, it might be exercising, it might be talking to me if I'm your coach, it might be, or to your coach if you've got a different coach. It might be talking to friends, talking to family, playing with pets, listening to music, making music, you know, like playing an instrument, dancing, hobbies, crafts, arts, you know, anything, I don't know, whatever makes you happy, knitting, whatever you like. Whatever makes you happy, that is a stress management method. You just need to make sure that it's healthful, helpful, and not harmful. Constructive, not destructive. Positive, not negative. Something that helps you rather than hinders you, right? Then you're winning. Then you're creating positivity without negative impact. If you've got fat loss goals, weight management goals, or health goals, eating too much junk food and expecting it to turn into happiness, it ain't gonna work. You've already tested it. You've already tried it. I have too. It's a constant battle that always goes on. The brain always says, oh, eat that, you'll like it. And you will for a bit. It's kind of right. But you just need to be careful with it. You just need to have balance and make sure that you're not trying to make yourself good in a way that accumulates and turns around into a way that makes you feel bad. And if that is happening, assess, adjust, reassess, readjust. Try and make a plan to just try your best to practice using different stress management methods in the future. Anyway, let's take a little breath, let's take a little relax. I think that's enough from me. What do you think? We've been nearly 45 on the podcast. That's roughly the same amount of time as episode 1. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed this content. I hope you appreciate my advice and rants about fat loss, food and fitness, health and happiness. I'm here to try and help you. I am Coach Connor, of course. If you're looking for help, go to macrosinc.net, see who we are and how we can help you. But thank you so much. Keep looking after yourself. Be healthy. Be happy. I'm trying to do this podcast every single week, along with other content that I make as well around the old interweb and in the Macros Inc. public Facebook group. I'm trying to do this podcast and come back to you every single week. It's brand new. I've just started it. I'm going to be looking on to get guests as well. I'm going to be looking to get guests on. Other coaches and other people in general to go through just some of their opinions and advice too, you know, just to mix it up a little bit. Keep it a little intéressant. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. People. I'll speak to you. I'll see you again soon.